All right, good morning, guys. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's good. It is November 11th, 2025 in the U.S. It is Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you. My dad was a veteran. He was in the Vietnam War as a helicopter pilot and loved what he did. So thank you for all of you guys who serve. Wherever you're at in whatever country where you are, and kind of being, I just really appreciate, the sacrifices. I have a lot of friends that are in the military and really appreciate them. So, all right, we are going to take a look today at our setup. This is our pre-market prep. And first thing we're going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about what's coming up. So we actually have a webinar today. So I'm doing a webinar. Let's see. Hang on. Let me get the right link for you guys. I think it is. Well, I'll get that link for you guys and I'll post it. I think I put it in my last November 10th. No, I didn't put that there, but okay. I'm a little bit out of sorts today. I'm actually feeling a lot better, so which is really good. But we're going to go over yesterday and take a look and see what we have going on here. So if we look at yesterday, let me just bring up my YouTube, pull that over here. We had pretty clear roadmap, and I talked about this being kind of an unbroken upside X plus model. And that's kind of what we got, which was, I expected more upside. And it was a funny day. The rest of the day was really kind of interesting, but our pre-market prep work that we did was spot on. So we kind of expected, if we come back out to here, we're kind of taking a look here at the actual data. So we had a very strong upside X plus model for yesterday. And we had an unbroken model, and that's kind of what we ended up getting was this. We had that both in NQ and ES. And what I always look for is I look for the break of either the IDR high or the midline to know if that model is going to change. But this model held, at least for ES, actually for NQ as well. And we did get some funky behavior yesterday too, which was really kind of interesting. So we got this upside X plus model, right? And then we had a short confirmation, which was very counter to all the data. So all the data looked for long confirmation, but it failed. And then we kind of had this bigger move back up, which was really interesting. So, but in terms of our kind of predicting what we were going to do at the open, we got exactly what we expected, which was this upside model right here, which was awesome. All right. So that was yesterday. I don't want to spend too much time on yesterday. It was really kind of easy, actually. It really wasn't much to it. The only thing that was really kind of threw me off a little bit was, let me kind of bring up NQ, bring up the 5-minute here on NQ. Let me kind of remove some stuff. It looks really busy for you guys. Okay. The only thing that was really tricky was actually NQ yesterday, because we had this little tiny kind of bounce into the IDR, as you can barely see it right here, that right there, which technically does change the data, but we kind of held after that. It was one of those things where I wasn't too concerned necessarily that we weren't going to get upside X plus, right? Kind of this big move, especially after we had this big 5-minute open candle. I took some good trades kind of going up here, but this also wasn't unexpected, right? Because we did kind of have a little bit of bearish weakness that played its hand here, right? And so it's kind of an interesting idea, which is even though this didn't affect the data in terms of the upside X plus, it was still a little bit of a precursor signal that the bears might come in, right? And that's exactly what happened. So the bears came in here. All right, so let's take a look at today and see what we have going on today. Let's go to ES. And we have a downside X plus model, and we were short confirmation. Okay, but you can see here we're already starting to break. Looks like we're already starting to break our IDR level right here. Let me get rid of some stuff here. So let's take a look here. All right, so let's bring up our data. We'll take a look here. And we'll go to Tuesday. We had downside X plus, short, true. We open below. Okay, so normally we'd look at, really strong downside X plus. So what we'd be looking at here is a model that would look something like this. Okay, so we're looking downside X plus, really, really strongly. What we have is we have the possibility that we're about to break this level, this IDR low level right here. And so that's something that we want to be, just kind of watchful of, because it does change the data. Like, it absolutely does change the data for sure. And so, that's definitely something that we want to pay attention to. And obviously if we kind of break the midline, then that's going to change the data even more for sure. So we definitely want to, we definitely want to make sure that we, that we're kind of paying attention to this. All right. Let's take a look at what happens if that is the case. So if we have a breach, right, now our data is a bit more mixed, right, between range expansion and downside X. If we don't break the midline, then we're expecting downside X. Downside X looks like this. So it's between the midline and the IDR low. If we do break this midline, and when I mean break, I mean we got to close above it, then our data is going to switch to a range expansion, something that looks like this. Okay, and I'll show you what that means or what that looks like here. Okay, so if we do break the midline, then we kind of have a dominant range expansion. I always have to check too, because sometimes the data surprises me where, on a given day, it may not actually function that way. It may actually be, something entirely different. We could also get downside or upside. So these are kind of, I call these the cousins of range expansion, but range expansion's our dominant one, right? So that's ES. So right now, ES is looking at downside X plus. If we break this, but don't break the midline, if we break the IDR low, but not the midline, now we're looking at a downside X. If we break the midline, we're very likely to get a full range expansion like that. So that's what we're looking at. NQ, I'm going to bet NQ is going to be looking about the same. Yeah, I mean, NQ, like we can bring up the data, but more than likely NQ is going to be downside X plus. So we're looking for more downside until we have that condition change. So let's just take a look just to validate things. So we're going to go to Tuesday, downside X plus, short, true, and we open below. We have a strong 50% probability that we're going to get downside X plus. If we breach, then we almost immediately, like we have a really high probability on Tuesday today that we're going to go range expansion. Obviously, if we can't break the midline, that's not going to happen, but it's really, really strong data that we're going to go range expansion if we do this, regardless of what happens here. So yeah, the breach of the IDR is going to be really important to watch. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that that we want to cover. Does anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions come through on in here. I'm planning on continuing to do these, but I'm doing these. I want people to join the community that we have, and so that's going to be really kind of important. It's a free community, so it's not like something that you have to pay for or anything like that. So definitely want to have people join the community. It's just a easy way for me to publish links, give announcements, that kind of stuff. There is training there, free training for people. So if you're fairly new to trading, or especially if you are struggling for consistency, my focus as a coach is helping traders who are inconsistent become consistent and consistently profitable. So that's kind of been my focus and niche as a coach, is helping that, and also helping new traders get off to really the right, kind of the first step, the right start, right? So that's kind of a big part of what I'm doing. If you want to join the webinar today, so you can join the webinar. This is the link. I'll put it into the comments section in the video or the description. That's today, 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. You can join the webinar, and then you can also join the community, which I'll also put in the description. So, all right. So let's keep this going. Love to see you guys here. Ask questions. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of sorts today. I'm juggling about 20 things this morning, trying to get ready for the webinar. So I apologize. My mind is in a lot of different places right now. So y'all have an awesome trading session. Have a great trading day. Make great decisions.